everybody. Welcome to the Nürburgring and welcome to round number 3 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here in 2026. I'm Chaz Draycott.
I'm Louise Schofield, and you know what, Chaz? The atmosphere is already absolutely electric, isn't it? I mean, last night as well, everyone was getting boogie into some country music, I believe.
Yes.
So I think it's the atmosphere is well and truly set off right now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here this weekend as part of the International Shell ADAC Truck Grand Prix. The name gets longer every year. It's the 40th year of the Truck Grand Prix here at the Nürburgring, and it's a hell of a venue to always come and celebrate this fantastic part of truck culture. Like Louise has mentioned, down at the Mullenbach Schleife yesterday evening, there was a massive country music festival, effectively. That's going on all weekend. There's more music there tonight. We're going to be heading down there tonight,
We are indeed. So you may see us with our microphones. We're going to be grabbing a bit of content. I think seeing who we can chat to as well. So if you're having a little bit of a boogie, we might come and say hello. So we'll look out for us.
Depends how many English fans or English-speaking fans we can find, as opposed to fans speaking German. Obviously, yesterday we had qualifying. This weekend is being shared with ADAC GT Masters and a number of other series as well. So our calendar and our timetable is a little bit compressed compared to normal, isn't it? It
is, yeah. But I think it's going to be a good spirits as well. I mean, the qualifying yesterday as well. So you know, we're getting straight into the races today, which I think is quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bit strange for us because obviously we get prepared to do our broadcasts and where we need to be and when with our wonderful cameraman Pearly, and usually we start in the pit lane for qualifying and then we just walk off. But to be on the grid for the first broadcast of the day at what is just about 10 a.m. is very, very different. But it's going to be an interesting weekend as a result. We still have the same amount of races. We have qualifying 2 tomorrow as well. Qualifying 1, well, the way it went was a little bit sort of, well, normal compared to usual proceedings, but we'll get onto that in a moment. We're here this weekend to celebrate the One Truck family here at the Nürburgring, which is the very main thing that we're here to all enjoy. We have a documentary called One Truck Family available on YouTube now that you can see, and we've got a lovely trailer for it just here for you. Great to be back once again here for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. The amount of times when I've been in an airport and you get chatting to somebody, a lot of them instantly go, wow, truck racing is a thing. You know, they're over 5 tons, 1,200 horsepower, 6,000 newton meters of torque. They're numbers that you don't see anywhere else in the motorsport world.
What would you consider as a wish to win the next championship?
I think we're to win the championship, okay. We are pushing as much as we can to go as fast as possible. Obviously, there's one guy in red, which is a step ahead of everyone else.
In the past 15 years, track racing became my life.
120 points. Epic stuff once again from Nürburgring and Rivage Racing. Nobody can seemingly stop them at the moment.
Guck dir Nobby an, dann weißt du genau, was ein Champion mitbringen muss.
Can anybody stop Norby doing triple Grand Slams? I mean, probably not. Albacetti goes through. He goes back in front of Nürburgring. It's not often we see anybody overtake Norby. Wow.
Wie funktioniert überhaupt die Zusammenarbeit zwischen euren beiden Teams?
Da habe ich jetzt eigentlich keinen Kommentar dafür, oder? Hast du eine neue Frage?
And there you go, the One Truck Family documentary available now on YouTube. A lot of love and passion went into that, and a lot of footage here from the Nürburgring as well, which really shows what the One Truck Family is all about, right?
Absolutely. I mean, as I'm brand new to this all, you know, it's my third time, you know, my third weekend, and I think you can really see the community coming through, and you know, these stands are getting absolutely rammed as well, and I think this whole event, it just shows the beauty of it all, and everyone coming together to celebrate what they absolutely love, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of fun going on here at the Nürburgring this weekend. We witnessed the Go and Stop competition yesterday evening, which is hilarious. If you've never seen Go and Stop before, where they throw the trucks down towards the bollards at the end, you need to go and see that. It's an absolute riot. It really is. Let's talk about qualifying though, Louise. Obviously, there's one man who has put it on pole position yet again.
He has indeed, of course. If you haven't guessed it, it's the one and only Nürburgring, of course. Of course, we are going to be looking into that a little bit later as well. So great you stick with us because we might have a little chat with him coming up. But I think, you know, you never know. I mean, René Ryan why not though? Gave us that little bit of a photo finish last time, didn't he? So I don't know. It could actually change it all. We don't know.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, we're stood here in front of the Iveco pace truck, and we had a little word yesterday with Pamela Paratico, who is from Iveco, and well, she gave us a good little chinwag in the afternoon, didn't she? Let's have a look at that.
So we're now here with Pamela, Iveco's Marketing and Branding Director. Pamela, how are you feeling about the season ahead?
Very good, very good.
Yes,
very good.
absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about the roadmap and what it looks like for Iveco going forward?
Well, it's going to be great because it's exactly what we are aiming to go to. We just launched a new brand positioning with a payoff that is Spirito Movimento, just said in Italian, so you need to practice to pronounce it properly. But Spirito Movimento is grounded into 3 pillars. Those 3 pillars being motion by design, motion through experience, and motion as family. And motion as family, well, it perfectly fits with what it is, the one-track family ATRC championship. So it's just something that collaborates us and connects us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And speaking of being connected to the championship, the Iveco, the S-Way and the SE-Way have now been the pace truck for the championship for many years now, since I've been working with them as well. And it's great to see it at the front of every single grid, but what does it mean from a brand's perspective, from Iveco's perspective, to still have the truck at the very front of the grid?
Well, it means 2 things. One is the sustainability, so something that relates us to what it matters the most, so electric and LNG, so our roadmap to multi-energy. And on the other side, of course, is being connected to our community, so our customers, dealers, but most of all, our drivers.
Well, I mean, I got used to saying bio-LNG for so long, you know, talking about the S-Way, and now we've got the electric one here. I imagine it's been quite an interesting process to see how the market receives the electric SE-Way as well, hasn't it?
Yes, it is. The SE-Way is something that, of course, is in the market, is on the roads, but it matters to us the most that is here on the pace track as a pace truck.
Well, it's fantastic to have it. Thank you very much, and it's great to see you as always.
Always great to see you too.
Cheers.
Thank you. Grazie mille.
So there we have it. I mean, the pace truck, of course, is important in making sure the safety of these races takes place. So it was absolutely fantastic to catch up with Pamela. We caught her last night as well. So, you know, she just came onto site and she's getting ready for the buzz as well. But as you can see, everyone is lined up, all ready to go, where everyone's getting their photos and getting their fans in. I think the atmosphere here is absolutely electric. And of course, everybody loves to come down here. It's definitely a key one where people like to come and see. And the grid is getting absolutely rammed right now as well. We are going to, of course, chat to a few of the drivers before they head off as well. But we'll have a little walk down and we'll have a little look at the atmosphere that's going on at the moment. But I mean, it's absolutely roasting here as well. And I have been told that apparently it's quite unknown for the Nürburgring to be quite this hot. So I'm touching wood here and hoping that it does stay like that. But, you know, the weather has been fantastic. We've been absolutely spoiled, actually, over the past couple of weekends with the weather, which has been fantastic. But I think for, of course, the drivers, it is very hot. And, you know, we've had many a sweaty interview afterwards as well. I think that's part of the champagne celebrations that helps cool them all down, which I think is definitely a must in the podium, which is really nice. But as you can see, everybody is getting their photos on the grid here. And I think this just shows the pure size of it and everything that, you know, it's really lovely. I mean, it's getting very busy down here. I'm just going to take you for a little walk down here and we can see all the teams that are going on. But I think the station was on. There's lots of people at the top as well. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a lovely, lovely time. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all pans out this weekend. So, there we go. Here we are, Louise Gatewood here, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And as I was talking about a little bit earlier, welcome on in. We have got an absolutely rammed grid here. It's very exciting here at the Nürburgring. I think it's going to be such a brilliant rest of the weekend. And of course, the pole setter, you might have guessed it. It was, of course, Norbert Kish. We had a little catch up with him yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
Position so far this season. Just explain how you produce that excellent lap time here at the Nürburgring.
You know, I don't know. I think we are in a good rhythm this year as well. So I think we've been fast in every circuit so far, and now here on the Nürburgring as well. really happy about it because during the free practices we were struggling a little bit with the brake cooling, and we just managed to find a solution before qualifying, and then I could be a bit more confident. And even though the weather is kind of warm, we still did a good lap time. So I think we can be happy about today and happy about the pole position.
That's just part of the job, though. You've got a race one tomorrow. What are the prospects of another victory then?
For sure, I think we're looking at a good race. I think Johan is not P2, which is fortunate for us, because he's a very fierce competitor, as you could see in Misano. So I think it's a bit safer for me if he's a bit more behind. But okay, we still need to do a very good job, against Antonio and René. So I think still it's going to be a difficult race. But I hope we can do a good start and stay in front. But I think we can be moderate, confident, because the team Reves Racing is doing a good job. So everything works well. So I guess we are on the right way.
Yeah, and you spoke about the team. How much hard work did go into the team, the truck after FP1?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, already after Slovakia Ring, we tried to do a lot of preparations in the workshop, and now, here, yesterday with the free practice, we realized that something is wrong with the brake cooling. And then this morning, it's still, even though we try to, clean everything and check everything, the problem was still there in the morning in the free practice. So even before qualifying, we had to take apart a few things. So, a lot of work goes into it, and I think everything has to be really precise. But, as I said, Reves Racing is doing a very, very good job.
Congratulations, Norby, on an excellent pole position. Well done.
Thank you.
There we go. A quick word from Norbert Kish. As you can see, he's behind me, getting ready to go. The man, the myth, the legend in the flesh. Let's see how we get on. I'm going to throw back to Chaz Draycott now, who's going to get us started with the commentation.
Thank you very much, Louise. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first race of the weekend here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kish, as you see on screen, on pole position for this first race of the weekend. There he is with Csaba Backo, having a good old chat. And as you can see, enjoying himself out there in the sunshine this morning. As you can see in the background, he's got Antonio Albacete alongside him on the front row of the grid. I managed to evade a little practical joke from Tim Frost while I was on the grid just a minute ago. But Tim and the team are obviously in good spirits after such a good qualifying performance. We had behind them on the second row of the grid Sasha Lenz and Jochen Hahn. Jochen will not be too pleased with the fact he was 9/10 of a second off Norbert Kish, which put him in that fourth spot. In the previous qualifying sessions leading up to that, it looks like Jochen was pretty much the guy to beat aside from Norby. He was second fastest in Q1. But then again, he was third fastest in Q2, so he went and put the fourth fastest time in, so he just gradually slid down the order a little bit as Q1, 2 and 3 went. And funnily enough, Louise is there now, and we're going to catch up with him and see what he thinks from starting from fourth on the grid.
Thanks so much, Chaz. I'm here with Jochen Hahn. We're getting ready to go. Jochen, how are you feeling about this weekend?
Feels good. We have a really nice condition of the weather. We are on the second row for the first race. A little bit nervous, it's the wrong word, but I'm ready to fight, that's it.
That's the fighting talk that we love. And of course, you're on home turf as well. Is it nice to be doing this in Germany?
Yeah, it's special in Germany. We have the pressure. But anyway, now it's race time and we enjoy it.
Absolutely. Jochen, best of luck, and I hope you don't get too hot in there as well. Chaz, back to you.
Always good to hear from Jochen Hahn. He's always got a good answer for everything, hasn't he? And I remember he always says a very similar phrase, saying that now we make racing, and that's exactly what he does. No matter who he's up against, no matter who's on the circuit with him, it'll be elbows out and full-on action from Jochen Hahn. We have our camera roaming the third row of the grid here with Steffi Halm on the outside in 6th place, René Reinert there in the number 77 MAN, the ex-Norbert Kish MAN, starting from 5th position on the grid. I'm sure he's going to be really excited to get it amongst the fight from there. and get all the action underway, chasing down his teammate, of course, hoping to get near the front for that 1-2 finish again that we saw at the Slovakia ring. That amazing photo finish across the line with just 10 thousandths of a second between the two, the closest truck racing finish in history. But Rene, I'm sure, will hopefully be the one in front this time he'll be hoping for. Let's have a look at the track layout for this weekend. We are here on the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, but we are not using the full Grand Prix circuit. What we do here at the Truck Grand Prix is we use what I believe used to be known as the school layout of this circuit. So you come out of the Mercedes arena through turns 1 and 2, and you can see where you would go down to the Goodyear Kehrer and the Michael Schumacher S is there at the bottom end of the circuit. That is where the Mullenbach Schleifer is, and that's where basically all the party is going on all weekend. Hundreds of display trucks down there, a music concert that goes on across the whole weekend as well, and a hell of a lot of fireworks, hopefully, for this weekend. We've got obviously very hot conditions here at the moment, so with how dry it is in the area, it's unlikely that we will have the fireworks display, which is a shame, but of course safety comes first. As you see though, the circuit itself looks like a much shorter version of the Grand Prix circuit, but in fact the lap time in these trucks is still quite long. We have the ADAC GT Masters here with us this weekend as well, and even their lap times are still that of a Grand Prix circuit. The Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit in its fullest is usually a very long lap anyway, so it doesn't really lose you a massive amount by having to do a shorter version of it. I can tell you from where I am in my fancy new commentary box for this weekend, they're just shutting the doors now, so we're going to have a look at the grid and check out how they line up. It's Norbert Kish and Antonio Albacete on the front row, 0.6 of a second Norbert Kish has an advantage of. Then it's Sascha Lenz, he is local to here, so we'll be looking for a good result this afternoon. He's got Jochen Hahn alongside him on row 2. Then we have René Reiner in 5th place, Steffi Halm starting in 6th position, and the fastest of the Chrome drivers, Lucas Hahn. I think it's the first time this season we've not had a Chrome driver go through into Q3. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez will line up 8th on the grid, and then good to see returning 2017 champion Adam Lachko starting in 9th place in his new Iveco. He's got Mark Taylor, 2nd fastest in Chrome, joining him on the 5th row. Then we have Bradley Smith and Jonathan Andre side by side on row 6. John Newell with his compatriot Luke Garrett starting in 14th. Clemens Hecker, spoke to him yesterday during the Go and Stop competition. He said they've figured something out with the steering that's hopefully making life easier for them. He's got Stefan Fass in that gorgeous Freightliner alongside him. Stefan Kirsch was the last truck to set a time, and Emma Mäkinen, who joins us again for this weekend, unfortunately didn't set any times, had a technical issue, and Louis Requenco was disqualified from qualifying for ignoring a flag. I think he was set to be 16th on the grid, so he didn't lose too many positions, but we know that Louis likes to have a good scrap in that Mercedes, so we'll have to see how he gets on. There is Sascha Lenz, starting 3rd on the grid. On the right-hand side, the inside line for that all-important turn 1. He is going to be very excited about having a solid start here. As you can see, teams and personnel making their way off the grid just now, with the big number boards to denote who starts where. You can hear all the sirens as everybody walks through the pit lane. It's triggered when one of the beams is cut, so it can warn marshals and anybody working in the pit lane that a vehicle may be on its way. And in just a few moments, we're going to see the green flag waved from the gantry here at the Nürburgring, and the Iveco S E-Way pace truck will lead us away round the circuit. And there you can see the grandstands getting filled for this first race of the weekend. Great to see. Love to see it. And Shell, as you see in the background there, one of the partners this weekend for the Truck Grand Prix. It's the International Shell ADAC Grand Prix, Truck Grand Prix I should say, this weekend. And there we go, the Iveco S E-Way, driven by Nico, makes its way away. I'm really happy to say I finally met Nico yesterday. After talking about him for nearly 2 years now, actually finally got to meet him in the flesh before we did our interview with Pamela Paratico. But now the trucks very quietly make their way off the grid. Not as quietly as this thing though. The fully electric Iveco S E-Way is the official pace truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and we thank Iveco once again for their commitment to the series over the last couple of years and their continued commitment going forward. Pamela was very excited yesterday to announce that Iveco have a new brand positioning that they announced over the past week or so, giving them a good, solid and clear roadmap for their developments going forward. It's interesting to see that we have 2 champions on the front row of the grid, but for once it's not Jochen Hahn lining up in second position. I'm really excited to see what Antonio Albacete can do from there. Antonio, so far this season, third in the championship with 3 podium finishes. He's been in the top 5 on 6 of the 8 races that we've done so far. His worst result of the season so far was actually the very first race at Misano, finishing in 8th position, but he followed that up with a pair of podiums. So he's definitely a driver that can bounce back. We saw it last year at the Nürburgring as well, that he was very potent when it comes to getting points in the afternoon and recuperating from a bad first or second race of the day. Norbert Kish, though, at the moment has a 36-point advantage at the top of the championship, and after just 2 race meetings, that is going to be pretty hard to overcome for a number of drivers, because you get 20 points for winning the first race of the day, you then get 10 points for winning the second, and he's got even more than that. So even if he did DNF in the first day of racing, somebody would have to win both races and then still be 6 points behind him coming into a Sunday. So it's certainly looking very good for Norbert at the moment to take what would be his 8th championship title this year. He's won 7 of the 8 races so far this year. Jochen Hahn is the only other driver to win a race so far, winning race 3 back at Misano. But we've got a big field of 19 trucks here this race weekend. It's fantastic to see it. There was questions over whether Jose Eduardo Rodriguez would make it to the grid, but he's there, currently lined up in 8th position on the outside of the 4th row. I know that Antonio will be using all of his experience. He'll be counting on every race start he's done to try and keep with Norbert Kish in this one. Norby is very good on these rolling starts, holding it on the brakes, keeping his foot on the throttle. What these drivers tend to do is they will be flat out on the throttle to keep the boost pressure up, to keep it all pressurized, and then they will just lightly hold the brake to keep the truck at the necessary speed, and then when it comes to the lights going out, they just take their foot off the brake and launch their way down the start-finish straight. You can hear some cars actually rattling around in the background there. The tourist farten is still open on the Nürburgring Nordschleife this weekend, so we've got a wonderful mixture of the ADAC GT Masters cars, our trucks, but also the road-going cars over on the massive Nordschleife. Speaking of massive, let's get our massive racing machines underway, shall we, as the first race of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship gets going now, and it looks like a really good start by Antonio Albacete. He's managed to stay level with Norbert Kish as they head all the way down towards turn 1. Jochen Hahn seems to have a nose in front in the battle with Sascha Lenz. Norby nice and late on the brakes. That's where he's really, really good. Sascha Lenz tries to get his nose down the inside. Looking a bit further back, there was a tiny touch between Adam Latchko and Bradley Smith. Luke Garrett hops over the curb. Looks like Antonio Albacete slots in nicely into second position. Stefan Faas shuffled off the road a little bit there by John Newell as he tries to get his truck under control out of turn 2. Steffi Halm has gone down the inside of Reiner, and look at that, Lucas Hahn sideways into the number 77 as well. Contact between the Chrome driver and the Titan driver. They're nearly 4 wide as they come out of the arena. That's going to end badly if Rene runs 2 wide there. Mark Taylor trying to keep it under wraps as well. Penalty markers and bollards get absolutely slapped into the ground all over the place. Mark Taylor trying to get past Rene Reiner. That's not going to work there. Jonathan Andre going well there around the outside. Bit of a shake from John Newell. Sounded like somebody else was locking up in the background, and Clemens Hecker's gone straight on. Luke Garrett and Stefan Kirsch going off the circuit with him as well. Big contact there. And I don't know if there was a brake issue for Clemens, but he went straight on down at the hairpin. Not sure if he's gotten back going again. We'll keep an eye on the timing screen to let you know. But that was a big old moment. But at the front of the field, Norbert Kish leads Antonio Albacete, then Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, Steffi Halm, Jonathan Andre off the road up there. He's gone for a day at the beach on the exit of the right-hander. Stefan Faas with a little bit of bodywork rubbing against the tyre. I think the smoke pouring out the back of the Freightliner. Hopefully it's nothing more than a bit of bodywork just grazing the tyre, and that's why it looks so dramatic, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, a very busy first lap here at the Nürburgring. You can see how dry it is there. Very, very dry indeed. And there is that red, beautiful Freightliner of Stefan Faas. It does seem like it's just the bodywork, just clipping the tyre and just shredding it away, burning it. There we go, though. Norbert Kish leading the way. Oh, it does look a bit more sinister, actually, from that shot, the smoke coming off of Stefan Faas's machine. Hopefully there's no liquid or anything coming down out of it, but that is getting worse and worse. Look at that. It's like a James Bond smoke screen deployed out the back of that Freightliner. I know that they have observers looking for black smoke in the championship, but what about smoke like that? Wow. Have to keep an eye on what it is. Just look at the right rear of the truck. You can see the wheel arch is pressed into the tyre. So it's the actual bumper bar is pressing in against the tyre, and that's what's causing the smoke. He'll be feeling a lot of friction from that, and that tyre will get shredded quickly. Goodyear have got a new 60% sustainable tyre with them this year, and it is a very durable tyre indeed. It can manage the hot conditions like this, or it can manage wet conditions as well. But I don't think it can handle a full 25-minute race with a bumper bar grinding against it. That penalty marker just got absolutely obliterated by Stefan Faas as well. Jochen Hahn is up into third place after a good start. He's ahead of Sascha Lenz now. Antonio Albacete still holding on to second place. Norbert Kish starting to open up the advantage at the front of the field. He stood a purple sector 1. He was 1.1 seconds quicker than Antonio Albacete last time round. You can see a bit of bodywork off in the gravel trap there. That's synonymous with truck racing, that we get wheel arches littering the circuit. 3 British drivers having a bit of a fight in there, with Mark Taylor ahead of Bradley Smith and then John Newell. It's still Lucas Hahn leading the way in chrome, 7th place overall for him. There's Stefan, subject of the damage. Let's have a look at a replay then. So it does look like Clemens Hecker... so John Newell catches Bradley Smith. Clemens Hecker then tries to avoid Stefan Faas. He locks up. Luke Garrett's on the outside. And I think in all the excitement, Stefan Kirsch just goes straight on. Here is the final corner then, on to the start-finish straight once again. Norbert Kish continuing to lead, doing what he does best in races 1 and 3 of the weekend. And we have Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn, 2nd and 3rd. Then with Sascha Lenz 4th, Steffi Halm currently in 5th position. And oh dearie me, that's a shame to see. Adam Lachko back for the Truck Racing Championship again here in 2026 with this new Iveco, having issues with it. We're used to seeing him in a Freightliner with Bugera ZM Racing. It seems like they've got some sort of technical issue that has forced them to retire. Nothing dramatic, no major damage or anything. We've got the number 66, which is Jonathan Andre, under investigation for overspeeding, and now the penalty markers are coming in. The stewards have had long enough to look at them now, and it's Luke Garrett, Antonio Albacete and Mark Taylor that are getting looked at for penalty markers, and now number 24 Stefan Faas, 3 of them from turn 10. I'm happy to say, with my new fancy commentary box that the wonderful people at Viga have made for me for these race weekends, I now have a massive screen and a huge display with all of the timing screens and everything on it, so I can give you even more information and be even more nerdy than I usually am. We've got an incident between Clemens Hecker and Luke Garrett, which is under review. That'll be the contact into the hairpin that we just saw a replay of a moment ago. But the field is spreading out into a couple of groups here. We've got Norbert Kish leading the way. Now we've got Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz. Steffi Halm then has Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Lucas Hahn next up. René Reinert has dropped down to 8th place after starting from 5th on the grid, so he's not quite having a race to remember so far. But then we've got a big gap back after him to Mark Taylor, Bradley Smith and John Newell. The 3 Brits hoping to fight for 2nd place in chrome. All they want to do really is chase down Lucas Hahn. We've had a 5-second time penalty already for Jonathan Andre for overspeeding. Now, it's been the topic of conversation before here at the Nürburgring that due to the GPS tracking of these trucks, to keep an eye on the speeds that they do to make sure they're under 160 kilometers an hour or 100 miles an hour, that just as they get to 100 miles an hour, they go under the bridges and the gantries here on the start-finish straight at the Nürburgring, so it can be quite difficult sometimes to make sure that they get up to 100 and then stay there. Some of the drivers can exceed it quite easily. So hopefully for Jonathan it's just a simple mistake like that he can learn from and then obviously come back from a bit further down the line. But we've got 2 retirees so far, and that is Adam Lachko and Clemens Hecker. Clemens clearly having an issue with that braking down into the hairpin, and by the look of it, he has actually completed the same amount of laps as Adam Lachko. They both have done, actually they just did the 1 lap actually and then came in. They're both 2 laps down, so yeah, they retired around the same time. Here's a bit of a scrap kicking off now. Lucas Hahn trying to go down the inside of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Jose nearly puts him off the road, and then René Reinert says, go on then, I'll have a piece of that. Wheel arch goes flying as they make wheel-to-wheel contact there between the MAN and the Iveco. René goes back down the inside. I don't think Lucas knew he was there, to be honest. He was trying to move on Jose Eduardo. All of a sudden had to cover his right-hand side from a big blue MAN. That wheel arch is flapping away in the wind as they remain side by side up towards the chicane. That's surely going to favour Rene Reinert into there, unless Lucas can brake late enough and go around the outside. Bit of wheel-to-wheel contact again into there. Rene sending the message saying, you stay over there, sunshine. This is my fight to have. The wheel arch has now very gracefully, I was going to say bedded itself in the sort of rear quarter of the truck, but it's now flung itself away. I'm sure Lucas will prefer it that way, that it is no longer attached. But a big scrap going on. Hopefully no damage to any of the wheel rims or the tyres between those two. They're able to keep it under wraps. We go on to lap 5 of the race. There is a reminder that we have the wonderful One Truck Family documentary available now on YouTube. If you thought that race weekends weren't enough of my voice, then you can listen to an hour of it by watching that documentary. Lucas Hahn back down the inside of Rene Reinert. I can tell you that the director definitely agrees with the statement about the documentary. Lucas having a bit of an issue out of the corner there. He was quite slow off the exit, and Rene manages to hold the position. Now, I mentioned that we're on to lap 5 of the race, and I'm beyond delighted to tell you that after 5 years of explaining that the lap that you see in the top left is actually how many has been completed, now we actually do show the lap that we're on, which is beautiful. Thank you very much to the graphics guys for sorting that out. There's the contact, wheel to wheel there, just flings that wheel arch up into the air. You can see the bolts and pieces that were holding it down go absolutely flying, and it may have caused more of an issue for Lucas Hahn than we thought. I did think he came out of turn 2 slowly. Yep, come down here, son. We've got a truck to sort out. But yeah, Lucas was going slowly out of turn 2, and I did wonder if that was going to be the end of it for him. Apparently there is debris in turn 10, which is all there. I mean, there's loads of it. You can see it's like a war zone down there. But right now, we have Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn very close together. Jochen has been putting in some good laps here to catch up with Antonio, about 2 or 3 tenths a lap. And now he's starting to put him under some pressure into the chicane. I think there was a yellow flag board illuminated there on the right-hand side on the way into that chicane, so they may be under yellow flag conditions there, meaning they can't overtake. Interesting to note as well that you don't see the wing mirrors on Jochen Hahn's Iveco. They've reverted to having a camera system in the corners of that machine, so it doesn't have the traditional wing mirrors like you see on the other trucks. You can see, look how much flatter it looks on the sides. It's like it's got no ears on the Iveco, but they've, like I say, reverted to that camera system just to give more visibility. And obviously if you have door-to-door contact, you don't lose that visibility as easily. Sure, you may damage a camera, but you'd have to whack each other pretty hard to do that, rather than just bending a wing mirror in and then you lose the angle and you lose how it's all calibrated. Sasha Lenz, I'm sure, will be hoping for some sort of battle to kick off here between Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn. As you see, incident in turn 10 has been reported to the stewards. That's understandable, because it's now led to Lucas Hahn being retired from this race. He is still at the side of the road and the truck will be recovered, but that's a big shame. Big shame. Lucas always goes well here at the Nürburgring. He's been going very, very well all season in that Iveco, out-qualifying Jochen on a couple of occasions. Got a few penalty marker warnings coming through for Antonio Albacete, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and for Luke Garrett. Turns 8 and 10 are the main problems. Turn 8 is the right-hander they're just going into now. They do take a lot of liberties with running wide on the exit of here. Keep an eye on that. You can see that penalty marker just on the outside, well, what's left of it anyway. And then turn 10 is the final chicane. There's been a move in the Chrome class. Jonathan Andre, I believe, getting past Stefan Fast just there. Stefan is 13th now, with Luke Garrett in 14th. Don't forget that 8th position is all important in these races as well. Mark Taylor currently resides there, and if he stays in 8th position, he will be reversed onto pole position for race number 2 later on this afternoon. I'm sure Bradley Smith would like to take 8th position so he can get that pole, but the same could be said for anyone behind them, John Newell or Jonathan Andre as well. But there's 6 seconds, or 5 and a bit seconds I should say, between John Newell and Jonathan Andre. It looks like Stefan Fast is dropping down the order here. He might have more of an issue than we thought, maybe a puncture from that earlier damage. A reminder that while the track is littered with debris, the racing itself is very clean, because of course we run a 100% renewable HVO diesel in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We're partnered with Total Energies, who do a wonderful job to match the sustainability methods of the championship. Oh, a lovely slow-mo shot here of the trucks heading through the chicane. You can see just how much the suspension is working. I've had the absolute pleasure of riding alongside Antonio Albacete in his race truck, the truck that we see Bradley Smith competing in over those chicanes. And let me tell you, it's a bit of a rough ride from a driver's perspective, but you can see just how hard all the geometry of the suspension is working. The amount of different angles that those wheels went through just in those few seconds there is absolutely incredible. And when they are trying to balance 5.3 tons of racing truck on top of them, certainly a lot of hard work goes into making sure the suspension is sorted. There's so many bits of debris there. Looks like someone's had a car boot sale on the exit of turn 8. But right now, Antonio has opened up a bit more of a gap on Jochen Hahn. He's got another tenth and a half over him on that previous lap. He was actually half a second quicker in just the first sector. So maybe a little mistake here for Jochen Hahn on this lap so far. Means that he's more into the clutches of Sascha Lenz than he is putting pressure on Antonio. All the while, there he is, Norbert Kish, just flashing through shot in the big red Baloo, or Baloo Junior, I should say. Big red MAN. Makes his way into the final corner once more, and we will now go on to lap 8 of 12, 2/3 race distance. As Jose Eduardo Rodriguez trying to chase down Steffi Halm, Rennie Reiner in there as well. And we've had a 5-second penalty. It's just about to flash up, there it is, for Luke Garrett. Now, he left the track and gained an advantage, I think, in overtaking Stefan Faas. So that is a big shame. Luke Garrett with a 5-second penalty. That's going to drop him further down the order, and that will put him potentially behind Stefan Kirsch. So he may go as far down as the last finishing truck if Kirsch manages to keep within those 5 seconds of him. That's a massive shame for Luke. I was just talking to him earlier this morning, and he said he was a bit more confident. He never goes too well round here, he said, because he can just never quite get the truck set up. There's a lot of lefts. He said to me there's the same amount of right-handers as there is left-handers, and they're all very different corners, so it's difficult to know exactly how to set the truck up for this circuit. He said that the championship he used to race in visited here many years ago, and he went really well and won all 4, and then all of a sudden he came back a year later and just couldn't understand the place. It's funny how it goes from one year to the next. John Newell all over the back of Bradley Smith here, who is all over the back of Mark Taylor. Great to see these 3 British drivers who used to race together on our own little island together years ago, now back over here on mainland Europe, putting in a fantastic scrap at the highest level of truck racing. There's a black and white flag for Bradley Smith, in fact, for the penalty marker in turn 9, which is a very strange one because this is turn 9 that they're going through here. This big long kink, so I'm not quite sure how Bradley has exceeded track limits there unless he was side by side with somebody. Looks like we've had another penalty marker for Stefan Faas, truck 24, and he is now under review, which means that he's had too many penalty markers and may get a penalty as a result. With Sascha Lenz, he's been going well in the Truck Grand Prix Meisterschaft as well. He's racing in 2 championships here this weekend, is Sascha. He was racing with the likes of John Newell, Clemens Hecker and Stefan Faas at the Lausitz Ring a few weeks ago. There was a fantastic finish between him and John, actually. But now you see the trucks fan out down the straight. Now, in other forms of motorsport, you'd see them all tuck up behind each other and try and get into the slipstream to try and go as quickly as possible in a straight line. But here in truck racing, you're not allowed to exceed 100 miles an hour. So there's no point sitting behind another truck and trying to get into any of the slipstream or anything, because all you're going to do is heat up your truck. Now, I mentioned before that there'd be a 5-second penalty to Luke Garrett, and that may drop him behind Stefan Kirsch. Well, that's definitely not going to happen now, because Stefan Kirsch has a drive-through penalty for hitting the penalty markers 3 times at turn 10. So he has exceeded track limits 1 too many times in the eyes of Michael Marek and the wonderful stewards and the FIA here at the Nürburgring. So unfortunately, Stefan will face the consequences of his actions there, and that will drop him down the order behind Emma Mäkinen, who is currently running in 16th position. So far, though, we've lost Lucas Hahn due to that damage from earlier. We've lost Adam Lachko and Clemens Hecker. It's a big shame to see Lachko go out in the first race of the weekend. He's, like I say, 2017 champion, so Adam is no slouch and won many races in the last few years that I've been commentating on him. He's always exciting to watch, and those Goodyear Freightliners are sorely missed from the championship. They were beautiful machines, and it was great to see more Freightliners on the grid. Fantastic to see it return under the controls of Stefan Faas, obviously. But we have more brands on the grid than we've had for many years at this point, with now, of course, the return of Mercedes, thanks to Louis Requenco. We've got the Freightliners, the Ivecos, the MANs, and now the Scanias as well. It's great to see such a good mix of machines out there. 3 of them right together here, and it's the Iveco of Steffi Halm being chased by the 2 MANs of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and René Reiner. On to lap 10 out of 12. So we have made it to past 3/4 race distance. It's quite a tame second half of the race so far. And after the race, if you fancy it, you can go and watch our documentary that's available on YouTube. You can scan the QR code, that will take you straight to it. Or if you look for One Truck Family documentary in the search bar, then you'll find it from there. So Steffi Halm doing her best at the moment to defend from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and René Reiner. 5th, 6th and 7th positions for them. Steffi not having to defend too hard at the minute, but I imagine that with just a couple of laps left, Jose Eduardo will want to get a move done here and try and get in front. You can see they're all trying to have a look and try and move on each other. René Reiner tries to go late onto the brakes. I thought for sure it would be Jose Eduardo going at Steffi before René tried to move on Jose Eduardo, because if René tries to move here, he could drag the pair of them away from the white and red Iveco, and that will mean that there's less chance of them obviously scoring a top 5. They are long removed from where Sascha Lenz is in 4th place. That battle has calmed down quite a lot now. It looks like Jochen Hahn may have overdone it on the tyres slightly and isn't able to keep the pace up that Antonio Albacete has put in. It'll be a great start to the weekend for the T-Sport Burnout squad if he can finish in 2nd place. That'll be the 4th race in a row where he's not finished any lower than 4th. So that'll be really good. He didn't finish in the top 5 in the first race at the Slovakia ring, but to be fair, I don't think he minds because he was in 6th. Norbert Kish there in Baloo Jr. crosses the line with a 7.4 second advantage right now over the rest of the pack. Jochen Hahn is just behind Antonio Albacete, but actually a second and a bit. So he's over a second back now, so Antonio will feel a little bit more calm and like he's got a bit more clear air. We've then got Sascha Lenz still waiting in the wings there. There's Bradley Smith fighting with John Newell there side by side out of the final corner and down the start-finish straight. Looks like they're taking on a round of go and stop here. Just hope that they don't slam into some bollards at the other end. John has the inside line. He'll be giving Bradley a wave and other things out of the window. Knowing John, he's always mischievous. But look at that by Bradley Smith. Tries to get the up and under, tries to get the cutback on corner exit. Doesn't quite work for him. Puts him too far around the outside for turn 2, but he's going to carry it out there. John runs a little bit wide of the apex. Bradley gives him the room, and the move is completed by John Newell. Through he goes into 10th. Bradley puts his nose back down the inside. Just needs to try and get this back while the battle is still fresh in John's mind. But if he can stick with him through this section, he should be okay. They both run a little bit wide. You can see the trucks squirreling around, moving one way then the other. Interesting that the sort of lower parts of the bodywork here are almost just going a matte brown because of all the dust. Oh, Bradley's overdone it into the hairpin. You could hear the tyres just skating along the surface there. And Bradley overdoes it that little bit. John throws a dust cloud at him on the exit. These guys really are pushing. You can see just how much they're shoving these trucks over the curbs here, there and everywhere. But that is all important for a top 10 spot between those two. Championship points for the pair of them if they stay within that top 10. But Mark Taylor in truck number 81 will be happy to go to 8th on the grid. 8th in the race and 1st on the grid for race 2. Across the line now comes Norbert Kish, and he leads by a considerable margin here at the Nürburgring from Antonio Albacete. But Antonio, like I say, he and T-Sport Burnout will be over the moon. Tim certainly loves truck racing, as we all know, but I'm sure he'll love this result just as much. No reverse grid has put them there or anything. They've done that on merit once again. There is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's managed to fend off René Reiner for long enough now. And now he can turn his attentions to trying to attack the number 44 Iveco just in front of him as Steffi Halm. It looks like actually he's had a really good first corner there. It's certainly looking tidy through this first sector for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Wonder whether we'll get anything from him. Steffi locks up into turn 3, and that's the opportunity that Jose Eduardo needs. That's the invitation to try and make the move. He'll think now, right, Steffi's feeling the pressure. Steffi's making a little mistake here and there. He's surely going to try and get to the inside here. No, Steffi defends the right-hand line. They avoid the debris just. Gets flicked up in the air. Steffi puts the truck in the middle of the road to try and defend this. But look, out of nowhere, René Reinert. I say out of nowhere like it's not a massive blue bright truck, but you know what I mean. Now Jose's going to try and run him out of road on the exit. A little bit of contact as they get through there. René backs out of that one. Decides that he doesn't want any more of that. He's already had contact with Lucas Hahn in this race. And I think that little move from René and that little attempt has maybe saved Steffi Halm that position. We'll have to see as they get right to the end now. Norbert Kish rounds the final corner. And the man that has won, I was going to say every race 1 and 3 this season, but no, at Misano finished 6th, of course, after that puncture. But he's back to winning ways in race number 1 here today. After doing the clean sweep at Slovakia Ring, he continues to take his 6th race victory in a row. Norbert Kish wins at the Nürburgring in 2026. The first race of the weekend goes the way of him and Reves Racing. Very well done indeed. Antonio Albacete is going to come home in second position with Jochen Hahn 3rd, Sascha Lenz in 4th place. Then it's going to be Steffi Halm, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and René Reinert. Some good entertainment from them. Mark Taylor is going to come home in 8th place and take reverse grid pole position. He's followed home by John Newell and Bradley Smith. Bradley getting a championship point for finishing in 10th. John gets a 9th position, which is one of his best results this season, I think, actually. He's had a number of 9ths and an 8th, actually, so far this year, has John. Next up across the line will be Jonathan Andre. Louis Requenco will be next up. That's a good drive through from the back of the grid. And then obviously we have Luke Garrett with a time penalty, Stefan Kirsch with a time penalty as well. So we will look at the results in a little bit and see what they are done as in the end. Well, Norbert Kish starts his weekend off very, very well. In the heat at the Nürburgring, he doesn't fumble under pressure and he takes the first race win. You can hear the crowd really appreciating that, sounding the horn as he heads into turn 5 at the hairpin. Antonio Albacete will be happy with 2nd place, and of course Jochen Hahn, a German driver on home soil here at the Nürburgring, gets a podium under his belt. It just seemed like Jochen was able to keep tabs on Antonio in the early stages, but then after that couldn't stay with him at the end. It's an all-British podium in the Chrome class, with Mark Taylor taking the Chrome win, John Newell in 2nd, and Bradley Smith in 3rd. Very well done to those 3. The British national anthem will be sounding out very soon, I'm sure. But Mark Taylor also back onto winning ways. I'm sure he'll be really pleased with that. That's his 2nd win in a row in the Chrome class this season. And so far in the championship, he leads the way from John. Stefan Faas having a pretty good season and holding on to 3rd, but Bradley with a very patchy season so far. He got disqualified in race 2 at Misano. He's then had 2 DNFs and a non-start at Slovakia Ring, but then in the other race at Slovakia Ring managed to win it. So yeah, it's been very up and down for Bradley this season. Hopefully him and the team have some good luck finally going their way here at the Nürburgring. There's the overall result then, and we have Norbert Kish taking the race victory from Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz, with Steffi Halm in 5th place. Then it was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 6th, and René Reinert makes it 7 Titan drivers in the top 7. And it's Mark Taylor ahead of John Newell and Bradley Smith, completing the top 10 positions. Louis Requenco was in 11th place ahead of Jonathan Andre. Stefan Faas gets promoted up a position. Luke Garrett, with his penalty, is classified 14th. Then it's Emma Mäkinen and Stefan Kirsch with the drive-through penalty. The drivers that did not complete the race were Lucas Hahn in number 22, Adam Lachko 55, and Clemens Hecker 25. Did not finish the race. As the rounds of applause from Mark and John's team as the Chrome drivers make their way in, you just saw Terry Gibbon in the background there, and we want to pass our congratulations on to Terry, who stepped in for Ricky Collett in the British Championship at Pembury and won a race, his first race weekend in years for Terry, and he managed to take a race victory. There is Antonio Albacete's machine. And Antonio just can see over the dashboard there. He's not the tallest man, is Antonio, but he knows that I'll always make a joke out of it. But Norbert Kish moves the safety net in, and he will climb out of Baloo Jr. and be a very happy man with that first race victory of the weekend. We've seen that every win means something to him. He made races in this championship, and other people know it too, but it doesn't mean that any of them mean any less. He will always keep fighting, and he will always keep perfecting. He's trying to find where the team is. He's trying to look around for just about everyone. There they are. They're making their way down now. Chaba gives him a big wave. Tim wants to give him a hug first. Fantastic. You've got to love Tim. He's such a character. And there you go. Chaba Bacco, the chief engineer of Revace Racing, doing another fantastic job. And that's the things you love to see. Antonio Albacete makes his way out. I'd love to tell you exactly how many podiums that is now for Antonio Albacete, but it's probably at least 1,000. He's constantly a threat, no matter how long he's been truck racing. I think it's his 28th year in the championship. And there you go. Lovely stuff. Very well done to Antonio. Another podium to add to, I'm sure, his warehouse of trophies that he's got. And I know that in the sunshine, he's certainly somebody that doesn't struggle with it. He's used to the Spanish heat. Richard Keimberger in there as well, ready to take pictures. There's Lena van der Mars. She's doing the fan TV here this weekend at the Nürburgring. Always good to see Lena on site. She certainly loves this weekend and really embodies it. There's Jochen Hahn, who finished third. And we're going to go down to Louise for an interview.
Here we go. Well, there we go. We had the first race of the weekend, and we're going to have a quick chat with Antonio Albacete right now. Just going to see how you feel. Antonio, how are you feeling after that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, a good result. It was a little bit tough because at the beginning I have Jochen behind. I was not able to follow Norby.
Yeah.
But anyway, I control Jochen. I take care of the tires because at the last laps was a little bit slippery.
Yes.
But yeah, very happy with the result for the whole team. I think it's a great result.
You held that position so well as well. I mean, you know, you were the second for a really long time. It was a good feat.
Yeah, it was good because also we have a good pace for the race.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, and I think the hard work is coming up, you know, and I'm very happy for the team, for the sponsors, for everybody. Yeah.
It's very hot today. I bet you're ready for that champagne to go over you in a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah.
Antonio, well done, and yeah, I'll let you go over to the podium. Thank you so much. All right, we have a few highlights from race one for you right now.
Thank you very much, Louise. Thank you very much, Antonio Albacete. As you can see, really happy with the pace this weekend. He got a great start to stay alongside Norbert Kish into the first corner, but unfortunately wasn't able to hold the position around the outside. There was early contact between Lucas Hahn and René Reinert, and it wouldn't be the first and last time that they came together in this first race of the weekend. Drama down at the hairpin with Luke Garrett going straight on. Stefan Kirsch involved as well, and I believe a failure for Clemens Hecker, which would see him retire from the race. Stefan Faas had some bodywork damage in the early moments, which was cutting down to the tyre. I think he sorted that by the end because he still made it through to the checkered flag. Norbert Kish was going well at the front of the field, opening up the advantage, but here's some big contact between Lucas Hahn and René Reinert, saw the wheel arch get flung up into the air, and Lucas would eventually retire with damage to the truck. You can see as they exit turn one here, he was a bit slower than René, and that was the end of his race, unfortunately. Adam Lachka was also out of the race, and he would have been hoping that he was fighting with these guys, Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn, while the British Chrome podium was certainly a good scrap as well. Mark Taylor inheriting that race victory, obviously, with Lucas Hahn retiring. René Reinert was putting Jose Eduardo Rodriguez under big pressure while the British battle continued. John Newell went down the inside of Bradley Smith and made the move work to take second in Chrome, and he will be on the Chrome podium in just a few moments' time. But before the Chrome podium, of course, we will have the overall podium, and the top 7 positions of that race were filled by Titan drivers, and this is how the overall championship standings look after that race. We have Norbert Kish on 126 points, leading the way at the moment. Sascha Lenz on 80, holds on to second place in the standings. Just 3 points clear now of Antonio Albacete on 77. Jochen Hahn now on 69 points, I should say. He's ahead of Steffi Halm on 58 in 5th position. And then we have a tie behind them with René Reinert and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on 42 points apiece. That's all the Titan drivers in a row, effectively, at this point. Mark Taylor actually moves ahead of Lucas Hahn in the overall standings with that points finish. He now is on 35 points with Lucas on 34. And John Newell is now into the top 10 of the standings as well. I know John will be really pleased with that, not just to be going well in Chrome, but going well overall. Bradley Smith has 12 points despite what has been a very patchy season so far with a lot of bad luck. Stefan Faas also with quite a bit of bad luck so far and some technical issues. He is on 10 points ahead of Luke Garrett and Stefan Kirsch, tied on 9 points apiece. Then we have Louis Riquenco in that new Mercedes on 4 points, and Jonathan Andre, the last of the point scorers so far this year. Jonathan's with us for a couple of rounds of the championship in 2026. It's always good to see him. He's always a very, very happy guy. Let's have a look at the Chrome standings then. And as you see now, Mark Taylor has a big old lead with 101 points over John Newell's 93. They're quite clear now of Stefan Faas, with Bradley Smith moving up into 4th position. Luke Garrett holds 5th on 52 points, but look how close it is just there. You've got Bradley 7 points ahead of him, Lucas Hahn 2 points behind him, with Louis Riquenco only 7 points back, then 6 points back to Stefan Kirsch, 6 points back to Clemens Hecker, and 1 point back to Jonathan Andre. Those points can really, really easily add up over the course of a weekend, and Emma Mackinnon gets her first Chrome Championship points of the season. Good to have Emma back with us, daughter of Mika Mackinnon. And great to see the Mad Croc branding back on a grid again. It's certainly an exciting and very striking livery, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of her truck over the course of the weekend. There was a great video actually on social media a while ago of her racing that Iveco around a local circuit with a Ferrari up against it, just showing how fast the truck was. I think that's Patrick Jarzynski that's just walked onto the podium there doing the announcements for the weekend. I know Patrick from Sim Racing, and he's an absolutely wonderful presenter, a really, really energetic guy, and he's a regular here at the International ADAC Truck Grand Prix. It's great to see him. We're going to get some drivers up on the podium in just a second. Antonio Albacetti gets his Goodyear hat, the very sought-after Goodyear hats, and a well done from Davide Califano to John Newell and to Mark Taylor as well. Davide, as always, the coolest guy in the room, even when he walks outside. Now you can hear the announcements ramping up, and we're about to get drivers onto the podium. And you can see the fans down there ready to celebrate the drivers' performances. They won't be stood that close when the champagne gets sprayed, let me tell you that for free. And now it's almost like a bit of suspense before everybody gets onto the podium. I wonder who that guy on the left's supporting. Here we go then. I believe we're going to start with 3rd position, which will be Jochen Hahn. There it is, yes. Jochen Hahn makes his way up. I love those Iveco overalls. I think they look fantastic this season. Really, really cool. Good to see Jochen there. Unfortunately, some slight irony in him being covered up by a Hungarian flag. Antonio Albacetti shares the podium with him. And it's safe to say that these 3 guys on the podium have been quite consistently up on the podium. But let's listen to the cheers as Norbert Kisch makes his way up. 7-time champion in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. You can hear the chants of Norby from all the fans. It's great to see his fans make the trip out here to Germany as well. It was lovely to see so many of them at the Slovakia ring, but now so many of them here as well. And there you go, the Hungarian national anthem. And now we wait for the trophies to be handed out. There you go, Jochen Hahn taking his 3rd place trophy here from the Nürburgring. Antonio Albacete really happy with that second place trophy. It's good to see a smile on Antonio's face. He has some very tough weekends. And Norbert Kish, again, happy with every single race victory he manages to achieve. And he continues to show everybody just how it's done here in truck racing. Somebody needs to get that guy with the massive Hungarian flag and iron. And there they are, having their pictures taken on the top step. And they will... no, Patrick's gone a bit early with the hats there. Yeah, he's gone a bit early. He wants them to spray champagne, but they have the changing of the hats, which is a procedure you don't see in any other forms of motorsport. Now it's time for champagne. And they're going to try and spray the fans and the media down there with as good range as they can. You can see everyone's taken a bit more of a step back now. Great to see. There's a really good party atmosphere even on the podium there with the music that's playing. Certainly seems like this whole weekend here at the Nürburgring is one massive party. And the drivers and everyone are really enjoying it. Now we wait for the chrome podium to be organised. You can see everybody that's made their way down there to the podium from many different teams as well, which is great to see. Again, just part of the one truck family mantra being represented there is the fact that everyone in this paddock is celebrated, regardless of what team they're being celebrated by. And third place in the chrome class for the first race of the weekend goes to Bradley Smith. He makes his way up for what I believe, looking at my spreadsheet, will be only his third podium of the season for Bradley. John Newell takes the step up to second place, and that will be his 7th podium of the year from 9 races. Really consistent so far this season for John. He's not taken a chrome race win yet, but he's had second place 3 times. That's because a lot of the wins at the moment are being taken by this guy, Mark Taylor. He's been first or second in the last 6 races in chrome. And in the last 5, he's been first 4 times. Very consistent by Mark Taylor. And now we will get the Great Britain national anthem. And there you go then, an all-British podium here in the chrome class. The guys have done a very good job at adapting to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and they continue to be just as impressive as ever. Bradley making sure the trophy's not as dusty as he wants it to be. Third place for him. He seems a little bit subdued with that one though, Bradley, I think, because he got overtaken mid-race by John. He might want to work on things a little bit, and he'll already be thinking about that second race later this afternoon. John Newell gets his trophy for second position, and Mark Taylor takes his 4th win out of the last 5 races in chrome. He will be over the moon with that one. And the guys now pose on the top step of the podium. And now they will not change the hats. Now they will go to champagne. The changing of the hats tends to be something that they just do in the Titan category, as now the media and the teams get soaked down there. And a big cheers from the top 3, and they make their way off the podium. You can see a little nod there in the foreground by Bradley Smith's dad, Tony. He just gave us a bit of a nod to say, yeah, not bad. But I know that they will be looking for a bit more this afternoon. Let's go down to speak to Jochen Hahn with Louise.
Here we are at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and I've got Jochen Hahn with me. How are you feeling? What a great way to start the weekend.
A little bit better than before the start. So podium, Germany, That's the target. But it's good. I fight with Antonio for the second place. From Nobby, I will not speak. He's far away. But that's the target. He show us what is possible. And that's the plan, to go there, to work hard, and we will come step by step.
Well, that's what race one's all about, is it? But I feel like you really held your own there as well, and you did stay there, and you were undercutting a little bit. I saw you trying to get in there.
Yeah, for sure. The point is we found the setup. That's the first time, the first step. So in the end, after this, it's coming the brain, to say, okay, it's possible, and this gives you a little bit motivation, and we go in the second race, and then we will see.
Absolutely. Well, you got great fans here as well coming to support you, which is great.
Yeah. That's fantastic in Germany. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Jochen, best of luck for race 2, and cool down a little bit because it's very hot. Thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you. There we go. Well, we've got Mark Taylor here as well. Come on in, Mark. How are you feeling after that? It's a good start to the week of a race 1.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was a good start. There was no drama, no trouble. It was just nice to just get round and have a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you feeling about race 2 coming up? I mean, have you sort of thought about a little bit of a strategy for the Nürburgring for their race 2?
Yeah, we'll just take it as it comes. You can never predict a race. Everyone's different. So, we'll start off and see how we go through the race.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go and let you cool down as well. You got your champagne there. Did you get some on you to cool down a little bit?
No.
Leave that to the team, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. There we go. And there we go. So there we go. It's been a really good race 1. What a very exciting time. And if you want to catch us, don't worry. We are back again at 3 o'clock for the next live broadcast. So you'll be able to catch us again, obviously, for race 2. Can anyone take that top spot from Norby? We're going to have to wait and see. But we will catch you at 3 o'clock.